like to share with you this week's Parshas Yichai, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok Zatzal. You know, every number in the Torah, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok has like a shitta, he has a style and a way of learning that we have so many explanations in the whole Torah. Every single number that's mentioned by a person, it connects to the theme of who he was. And with this, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok has many, many explanations, like 6 explanations, but we're going to focus on one. In the end of this week's Parshas, it says, Yosef HaTzadik lived 110 years. Kuf Yud Shonim. Why? Everything has a reason. This number 110 brings out the theme of who Yosef HaTzadik was. Now we find, it says in the beginning of Parshas Vayeshev, Eile told us Yaakov Yosef, that the real birth of Yaakov, who succeeded the most, was Yosef. As we know, Yosef went out to Mitzrayim, he was only 17, and he succeeded to show all the Shvatim that you could be in the world, and still in all you could have your Jewish identity. And he paved the way of being an example, a dugma chaya, to all the Shvatim. He took care of them. So the true Yaakov of his mission in the world as a Yid, who fulfilled the most, was Yosef. Eile told us Yaakov Yosef, as the Rebbe explains in many, many sichas, and in Chassidus in general. With this, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok explains something so beautiful, why it was 110. And this is interesting remez. We say every morning in davening, Titin emes leYaakov, that Yaakov was midas emes. Emes is spelled with 3 letters, Aleph, Mem, Tov. Emes shows that it's genuine, honest from top to bottom, which means that the revelation of Hashem, the connection of Hashem to the world is anywhere. Just like we said by Yosef, wasn't only when he was in Canaan, even in Mitzrayim, he was emes. He brought out the true dedication of a Yid to Hashem wherever he is. That's called midas emes. That was Yaakov. He implanted that feeling into Yosef. Now says Rabbi Levi Yitzchok, an interesting remez. If you look at the words of Aleph, Mem, Tov, which is emes, the real letter, the most unique letter of that word is the Aleph. Because if you take the Aleph out of that word of emes, you're left with Mem Sof, which is mes, death. And that's the opposite of emes. Which letter is the main key letter of the word emes? Is the Aleph. So Yaakov really symbolizes in that Aleph. Another remez, he says, why Aleph? Because if you look at the way the shape of the Aleph, you have a little Yud on top, a little Yud on the bottom, and then the line in between. And that adds up to 26 in the name of Hashem. Also showing this Yaakov, he was the Aleph, he brought revelation to Hashem. So now look at this interesting thing. If I verbalize the letter of Aleph, so if I think about it, I think about an Aleph, I could think about the shape. But if I verbalize it, I must add another 2 letters. You say Aleph, Lamed Pei. So the Aleph goes on Yaakov. The Lamed Pei goes on Yosef, which is the birth. That's like the revelation. The Aleph is the source. That is Yaakov. And when you verbalize it, you have to bring out, so to say, the other letters. That's like as if the children, the offspring. Aleph, Lamed Pei. How much is Lamed Pei add up to? 110. And that's why Yosef, who was the child, the offspring of Yaakov, he lived till 110. So the Aleph goes on Yaakov, Titin emes leYaakov, the main source of the main letter of the word emes, and Yaakov and Yosef is the offspring, so to say, the letters that come out in the revelation, b'dibur, when you speak. That's the Lamed Pei, adds up to Yosef. Goes Rebbe Levi a step further. Shows you how exact it is. In Yosef's life alone, you see how it wasn't just the general numbers of Lamed Pei, 30 and 80, which adds up to 110. his life also was exactly divided into 30 and 80. Lamed and Pei. As it says in Chumash in Parshas Miketz, how old was Yosef HaTzadik when he became viceroy of Mitzrayim? It says Yosef was 30 years old when he stood in front of Pari. So the first 30 years was very challenging for him. By age 17 he was sold, and then he was in jail for 12, 13 years till he came out. But from 30 till 110, 80 years exactly, that's the pay. So in Yosef's life alone, symbolizing 110, it was divided in general between the Lamed, the first 30 years, and also the latter part of his life, the 80 years, and he was viceroy in Egypt. As we once spoke also, that Yosef HaTzadik was the one, he served the Jewish people, he brought down the Shechina, so to say, he was the delivery man, which is Midas HaYesoid, and Yesoid adds up, says Rebbe Yitzchok, to 80, and that's why he was viceroy in Mitzrayim for 80 years. You see exactly how every number in the Torah is so exact of why Yosef HaTzadik lived 110 years, because he was the one who brought this Aleph, this Emes, into the world. That was the Lamed Pei, and that's why his life was exactly 110, divided into 30 and 80. You see how everything in Torah is so exact.